Hello and welcome to episode 51 of our Conversations to Connect Let's Get Real Talks powered by Exceptional Connections. I'm Cindy O'Neill-Dady, the founder and chief connector of Exceptional Connections since 2009. At Exceptional Connections, we offer intentional and innovative solutions to boost your business. So each month we nominate a different member of our Exceptional Connections community to have a meaningful conversation with. So be sure to make yourself comfortable with a cup of tea or a beverage of your choice. And I'll unmute the lines around the 45-minute mark to be able to have you engage in our conversation, ask questions, share your ahas, epiphanies, and of course, enter into our thought-provoking conversation. So in the course of these 51 episodes, we have encouraged and supported our community to stay together during these challenging and uncertain times. And so I just invite you to set aside any distractions and invest yourself into the conversation that's about to unfold. And I just want to encourage you to look for just one idea that you can take away and put into action so you don't cheat yourself out of the time you've invested here. So our conversation to connect this week is with Charlie Hoffman and Heather Ross from Stanwood, Washington. Hey girls, how you doing?
We're doing great, Cindy. Thank you so much for having us today.
Oh, I am so excited. I've been looking forward to this conversation, and we'll mention it at the end, but they were episode 47 as well. So these girls have a lot to offer. They're deep wells. And so do check out that conversation to connect as well. But we're going to talk today about how to interact every day with social media. Oh my gosh, what an important conversation, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
and setting like intentions, that this is a learning moment. So this is great. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And what I love is that not only are we going to talk about the importance of, being active in social media and get some tips, of course, but you're going to share your proprietary daily method of operations, right?
Yeah, it is definitely a treasure.
Well, we're looking forward to having
one
you
of those
unpack
little
that treasure box.
treasure chest pieces we didn't realize was missing out there, that other people weren't doing this. Yeah. So it's exciting to share it.
Well, let's dig. Before we dig into this conversation, I want to take a few minutes to introduce both of you ladies to our listeners and for them to learn about your passion for connecting women in leadership and business and your goal to be able to build relationships and empower each other. So Charlie Hoffman and Heather Ross, founders of Women in Leadership, Body, Soul, Mind, and Business, are two friends who came together to help local and small businesses be seen and build their know, like, and trust online, right? Which is so important. So when they meet their customers for the first time, they're already a part of their business family. So they are lifelong learners, which is so important as entrepreneurs, and excited to share what they have, what they're passionate about. So they love to laugh and have a good time while empowering others to take their business to the next level. So Heather and Charlie, take it away. Share a little bit about your journey, and let's jump in.
Woo! Thanks so much for having us today, Cindy. So we came together just because we were bored on Fridays, and we saw this hole in especially women entrepreneurs where we weren't getting the heart of what we were doing out into the world. So we started doing some interviewing and doing our own little podcast, and to promote that, we were doing all of these things that we're going to talk to you about today.
Yeah, it was just really a magical moment that when we came together as friends, we were working together at the time. That's how we met. This podcast was really built off of a desire to help our community post-pandemic, especially our women community, our female community, because I feel like as females, we took on a lot of the responsibilities when COVID happened with staying at home with the kids, homeschooling. It was just a lot more on our plates while we were trying to survive with our businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
So
there is a
Well,
way.
that's fun. I always love hearing the backstory. So that's great. Okay, we talked about how to interact every day with social media and your daily
Yes.
method of operation.
Yes.
So what is your DMO or your daily method of operation? And how can we leverage social media in our businesses with it?
A daily method of operation is a daily checklist of things that you should be doing to boost your algorithms on social media.
So it's and we call it the Power 30. So it's a 30-minute set of time, and you can do it in 5-minute increments throughout your day. So a lot of working folks, we do it in between meetings, the first 5 minutes of break time, you've put in 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, but by the end of the day, you've done 30 minutes of this. So it is the checklist of activities to do on social media, and you time yourself so you don't get lost in the scroll. You do it with intention and purpose that you're going to start building better connections.
See, I love this because they talk about, I think I hear a lot about guilting people, like you need to do this, and then everybody's like, okay, yeah, I need to do this, but how do I do it? And it seems overwhelming. So you're making it bite size.
Yes.
Bite size, easy.
Yes. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Because social media doesn't have to be hard. And sometimes it can definitely feel hard or even lonely.
Yes.
True.
Or if you put yourself into the mindset of guilt and shame, then what kind of interactions are you having when you go and do interact with people if you're coming from guilt and shame? So, that doesn't,
you want to have it
feel good
uplifting
either.
and fun and a contribution and all those good juicy things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it does bleed over. So I see that. I love, and so making it easy. So take us through the steps, like, how do you keep yourself on track with the power of, during the Power of 30?
Okay, I am going to go ahead and share this with you. This is our Power 30 checklist.
Okay.
Can you see it? Did it work?
I can't see it yet. No.
Yeah, I didn't. I was wondering.
So we had Chuck just join us. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
So we're going over the daily method of operation.
There we go.
Charlie and Heather are sharing their steps for posting on social media.
So I grabbed the checklist, and if you want, that QR code will take you to a video. So if you were like, I want to do that, but I don't know if you need even more, it's a video that we did that goes over this also. So
nice.
So I always set a timer. So for 5 minutes, so you can restart it every 5 minutes. And I start by interacting with happy birthdays. So specifically on Facebook, you can do that. Go into your birthdays. Now, if you missed somebody's birthday, wish them a happy belated birthday. Ask them what they did. It's about starting conversations and talking to people. If you have somebody on your friends list and you haven't talked to them in a whole year, isn't that the best time to start a conversation? So it's about getting conversations started and talking to people. So make sure you're genuine. If you don't want to wish somebody happy birthday, then let's have that conversation about if they should be on your friends list.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's a whole nother thing that we will cover in a little bit. The second thing you want to do is
so ding, ding, ding,
ding, ding, ding. Your timer's gone off for your 5 minutes of happy birthday. Stop what you're doing. And then your next 5 minutes of time on social media is going to be interacting in stories. So stories are like little videos that come across the top of your screen, and interacting in those.
And when you interact in those, you're actually direct messaging the person. So you're in their inbox, you're having a one-on-one conversation. So if someone posts that they're having a great day, be like, awesome, congratulations, I don't know. I'm trying to think of authentically, and I didn't get an image of a story, so
But they actually get a personal message from you when you interact with them.
I love
And-
your shirt. I love
Yeah.
seeing what you're doing. You're doing a great job showing up. Or, if it's a business person, sometimes I'll just say that, like, I see you, you're doing awesome. Like, because as we do these things, if nobody's giving us that kind of a feedback,
Then we don't know.
we don't know. So
Right.
a lot of times I do that.
Next up is 5 minutes of post 2 to 3 story slides. And this is on your page.
Yeah, or yes.
So
So if you've never posted a story before, now that you've looked at stories, you've warmed up the story algorithm. So now when you post yours, more people are going to see yours. So that's why we do the interacting first. And then 2 to 3 slides, the story should be kind of like the behind the scenes. What else is happening? Where else can you find things going on? Things like that.
short little video clips work really great in story slides too. And it could be, maybe your child or grandchild's like running through a mud puddle, and that's what you post. That's it.
And they have cool things now too, where you can just take like a picture of yourself and add music to it. And now it's a 15-second clip or 10-second clip for someone to watch. So it's interacting with your people. So now you've posted.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when you're talking about 2 to 3 story slides, is that, and I apologize for my ignorance in asking this question, but maybe
There's
somebody else is
no.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, they are.
But is it like is that the one where they have a little line and then you could do like different clips? It's
Yes.
different video clips, but it's one story, but 2 to 3.
Yes. So when you post it, the one that you post first is the first one they see.
Okay.
And then the one you post after, and they stay up for 24 hours.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So it kind of yells at you those first few times. I remember back in the day that it will see like, hey, this is going to go away. Do you want to share something else? It kind of tells you like, hey, you should interact again, because they want you to come back. Right. That's part of the consistency. Sure. And that's a thing too, is like, if you posted 2 or 3 slides last night and now it's morning, think about the continuity of what it is. That's my thought process, like, oh, I need to wait till maybe like noon. So it's not like all these slides of information. It's giving that more time to get through the time frame that it has. Because some businesses will tell you, some social media people will tell you to post 10 or more a day, and it can be really obsessive and obnoxious
and
overwhelming. So if you do post 2 to 3 a day and you're consistent with it, if once in a while you have a really fun day and you post a few extra, it's not like, oh, she always posts 1 million and they just click through it. They're going to still be engaging in what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate you defining the terminology so that it's not 3 separate ones. It's one with 3 story little
It
clips.
could be both.
Either way.
Oh, it could be
There's
both.
no, it's not a wrong. There's not a wrong.
Okay.
It's putting something out there. I have to tell you, when I first started doing stories, I was super duper not sure what to do. And I don't have a cat, I have dogs, but my dog likes to sleep under a blanket. So I could never get like consistently cute pictures of her at first, right? So I was like, what do I do every day? So I started posting pictures of my neighbor's cats walking across our hill. I could get that every day. So I made stuff up. There's no wrong way. It's starting. Do something,
Starting a conversation.
And with our businesses and things, people like to know what's kind of going on behind the scenes. They like to see what's happening, because they aren't coming into your office, right?
Right.
Well, some people are, but not everybody is. Okay.
Right.
So ding, ding, ding. Our next 5 minutes is to interact in the Facebook scroll.
And there is a way to do that. if you stop on somebody's post, it should be someone you or something that you want to see more of. Okay. If you're not seeing that, then you can hide that post, and then they'll start showing you less of that kind of post. So then you get more of the things that you want to see, because guess what? If the more of the things you want to see, the more of the things that your people want to see that are similar to the things that you want to see, because you bring similar people, you attract similar people to you. The other thing that you want to do when you interact on Facebook scroll is, if you stop and like or heart or whatever the post, that's great. But, send them a quick little message too, because that helps both of your guys' algorithms.
So if you use 3 to 5 words, and specifically if you ask a question, you're going to create that back and forth conversation. And that's what the algorithm really loves.
Yeah.
So you're boosting not only yourself, but you're actually boosting them as well.
Yes.
That's good to know.
So if you, as you practice this and you do this daily, you will have more and more people that you can get done in that 5 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And sometimes I'll be like, ooh, I'm going to think of some sort of question I could ask, or have a little list of questions that I like to ask, so that I've already kind of thought of a few questions. So just so I can talk to a few more people, like during that time, right? Like I want to get the most out of my 5 minutes, but it's really amazing what the 5 minutes really does when you're consistent, because it's about that consistency. All right. So now you've warmed up your algorithm and it ding, 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 ding. Now's the time you make your post on your page.
Spend 5 minutes making a post or two on your page. If you have a business page, make sure you are posting on your business page and sharing to your personal page.
And so then you can be like, oh, I'm so excited about doing this thing in my business. I can't wait to, share it. Or I a lot of times will be like, I love these graphics I'm doing. I can't believe, this is so pretty, and I can share it to my page. So just adding a little more personal touch to a business post when you share it to your page. And then when you share that business post from your business page to your page, people click on it and they go back to your business. So when we do something later with your business post, that's something to keep in mind.
Plus, then your friends that are on your personal page are like, oh yeah, that's what so-and-so does for a living, when they have somebody to, a need to recommend, because you're staying front and center on their visual shelf, right? By sharing regularly what you're doing.
All right. So now
don't you also,
yeah, go ahead.
Isn't it also like helps the protocol of what I've heard is that if you could do business to personal, but you don't want to go personal to business. Is that true?
Correct? That is correct.
Because they're going to follow back to your business.
Okay.
So if they're on your personal and they see your business post, they can click on your business name and go to your business page and see all of what you're doing in your business.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily want people who are only interested in your business getting into your personal life. We don't want to cross certain boundaries, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, also, isn't it have to do with Facebook too, that they don't like you to do that? I've heard something about that.
It has to do with being a business and creating your content as the business versus creating the content as a personal person. It has to do with that weirdness.
Okay.
Yeah, they have different rules and algorithms for things.
Right.
And you want to boost your business page because they don't get the same kind of interaction.
Right.
Unless they are boosted.
Right.
So, and then that leaves us to the last 5 minutes. Interact in groups. So we just talked about how to interact on your page. Apply that to a group as well. So you're going to pick, you can pick groups, you can plan it out. Like, I'm going to do 1 minute in this group, 1 minute in this, how crazy you want to be. That's fine. I've been crazy detailed with mine. But to interact in the groups and ask questions and talk, that's how people get to know you outside of your current circle.
So these are groups that you joined
On Facebook.
On
on Facebook
Yeah.
that you may not know anybody from that group, but you want it, they might have a similar business or
Like, Cindy, I could see you in gardening groups, right? You could totally go into a gardening group and talk over there, right? And then when you have a garden party, you could share into that group if that's the group rules. You always have to do that.
Follow the group rules.
But and be aware of that. And that's where, if you've been in there talking to people, then it's not like a foreign thing when you share something into there.
right. They
Right.
don't feel spammed.
Right.
You're building a
You're building a
relationship with that
relationship.
community.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you're all about making those connections, right? We're all about that.
Mhm.
All about making that connection.
And one of the things that we like people to do is we have a Facebook networking group. It's the Women in Leadership Networking Group. And we want other women in business and other business owners to share what they're doing in that group so that we stay on the shelf, right? We stay on that virtual shelf of we're front and center in somebody's mind when somebody needs a product or service. Oh, I know somebody because I keep seeing their things. It's like a mini commercial, right? When you think of a cola soda, you don't necessarily think Shasta, you might think Coke or Pepsi because of the marketing. So it's like the same service that somebody else provides, but at a different level because you're staying on the shelf.
Interesting.
Right.
I hadn't heard that analogy before. I love it.
Thanks.
Okay. So, we've done our 5 minutes throughout the day or
Mhm.
all at once. We have our checklist, which I love because,
Mhm.
you don't have to guess. We just go through the process, right? And so what are some other tasks that you can do during your power hour? Let's say you're getting really proficient at it and you're able to go through it really quickly. What are some other things we can be doing?
Well, I think interacting in groups and then going right into making a post in a group. So like that being so you've interacted and now you make a post. That could be sharing one from your business page or making an authentic post within that group for that content too is a great way to build your authenticity online
And your relationships.
and your
within that group.
relationships. Yes.
Okay.
And then because we're and this is like, so you can create it like a power hour and write down these tasks to do in the next half hour of how long do you want to spend on social media. But these really build that algorithm and warm it up so that instead of being shown to 2% of your people, you're being seen to a lot more. And that's why saying the same things again and again is important. Because we think, well, I put that on my Facebook page. Well, yeah, like 2 months ago, and I didn't see it, so.
Right.
So, so don't feel like, it's horrible that you're repeating the same things.
Yes. Recycle content. Don't work harder than you have to.
That's one of my favorite things. So instead of going to that post from 2 months ago and sharing it, go to that post from 2 months ago. This is such a fun experiment. Or older that people liked,
or even
and
memories that pop up.
Just comment on it. Oh, this is so fun. It boosts it to the top of your algorithm and people will comment on it again. It is crazy fun to do that.
Yeah.
I get so excited
because there's so many times you get frustrated. You're like, hello, anybody out there? Is anybody, paying attention? Now, yes, there's asking questions, there's, putting things out there that's more engaging for your audience. But then there's also working the system with the algorithms, right?
It is. Absolutely. And if you're seeing only the same few people, you need to try to go and purposely interact with a different few people to mix it up. So sometimes that could be the difference. There's an app called Friendly that you can log into Facebook through. And if you go in there and you interact through there, it gives you different people from your same algorithm to interact with. Because, if we're going through this like you're supposed to, every person on that scroll you want to interact with. If it's a different 5 people than the first time, right? Do you see?
Right.
Do you see how it builds? I get all
Yeah,
excited.
I love it.
I get excited.
The
does
word
the thing.
momentum comes to play, and it
Yes.
just gets some traction and some momentum.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. All right, so we've done our,
Oh, and also don't forget to interact with your own post. You are your biggest fan.
interact with your own post. So give me an example of that.
So I like to heart my posts and maybe make a comment. Like if I had a silly face or something, I might tell the story behind it or something, in the comments. So you're interacting with your own
Right.
post.
Okay, got it.
Oh,
Okay.
and our number 1 social media tip is do not put links in the post when you write it up. Put it in the comments on the post, unless you are sharing a story and then you add it as a sticker.
And you can only do that on Instagram.
And you can only do that on Instagram.
Now, why do you not want, I usually do it in both places sometimes. Why do you
The
not want to
reason
do the
why
post?
is because Facebook Facebook especially doesn't want you to promote people clicking off of Facebook. So when you put it in your actual post, your algorithm drops to 0.
Oh,
Yeah. They want people to spend more time in their social media platform. So when you are asking them to click off of that social media platform somewhere else, they don't like it. So put your
So unlike
links
when
in
we
the
do
comments.
our web pages and we tell them to open on a different link,
Mhm.
right? We don't have that option on Facebook, right? So Facebook doesn't like it. So that's
so
why
do you
we
say in the post, check
See
the
link
comments for the
below.
link?
Yes, and be careful with how many times you say that. You might want to space, get creative and space it out, like link space, L space I space N space K, and just being aware there's some words that they flag as also bad. So there's a
Whoa,
lot
okay.
of layers. So that's why it's a
Yes.
practice, right? So you practice. So you practice. So I personally like to set like a 14-day goal that I'm going to do this every day for 14 days.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to see what happened.
Mhm.
I'm going to look at, do I have more people that I'm talking to? Am I getting more engagement? Am I engaging more people? Like what's happening? How do I feel? Because that's a big thing. We kind of touched on that a little bit. If my Facebook feed is bringing me down,
Change it.
I'm not going to keep those people in my feed. And
There is a nice
Bringing
way
me
to do
down,
it.
meaning like a negativity. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
negativity, like if I emotionally do not feel good when I'm doing my DMO, then I'm not going to be interacting in my authentic way.
Oh,
right?
got it.
So if it's interrupting you, then we can talk about hiding people, unfriending people, and picking some new friends, right?
Unfollowing.
Yeah.
So you're
These are-
pruning, like we talked
You're
about
pruning.
before in your garden,
Yes.
right?
Also, when you do that pruning, because that's another activity you could do in that other half hour, is you could actually add 5 new people and delete 5 people every day. And that changes up what's happening in your algorithm.
So you're cleaning up the groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the groups, cleaning up the people that maybe a lot of them, if you went to the very beginning, some people have dead accounts. So there's no picture. So you look and they haven't had any activity for a couple of years.
What did you call that?
A dead account.
Oh, dead account. Okay.
Okay. So there's like just like a blank picture.
Right.
Of just a silhouette, right?
Mhm.
Kind of like dead inside, I guess is where I went
Right,
with my
right.
head.
Mhm.
Like so
They haven't personalized it.
There's nothing in there. They're not posting, they're not watching.
Mhm.
So that account, unless it's like, your first cousin from your dad's side that checks every 5 years, right?
Right.
Then just hide that one. But if they're not, then delete it because it's like dead weight in the algorithm.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, great tips. I love it. Okay, so we've kind of talked about creating a social media plan and doing it for a period of time. So take us through that.
Okay.
So you get that timer out and you can do the timer on your phone. But a lot of times I will set our friend Alexa to be our timer.
And then, so if you're doing this for like a period of time, like a 30, 60, 90, 45-day plan.
Yes. And that's what I'm sharing with you right now. This is a document that we use when we work with our clients to set up a 45-day social media plan with them that we can schedule ahead of time to really just take the stress and the overwhelm off of this piece of their business.
What do I post?
Right.
How do I post it?
Mhm.
Oh gosh, did I have a call to action? I haven't told them to do anything in weeks.
So we start with 7 days of the week. We do encourage people to post every day because it helps boost the algorithm. It
You
helps
get
keep it warm.
rewarded for your consistency in posting.
Mhm.
So, and we've seen it, we've taken 2 clients and one didn't want to post 7 days a week and one did. And the difference in the growth just from that was the only difference between the 2 accounts. And we were totally surprised. And then a couple of my mentors came out with, they were excited. We've been telling you to post every day for years. They finally proved it. It really does boost you in the algorithm. So,
But if it's overwhelming, maybe just pick one day a week, right?
you got to start.
You got to start
Got to
somewhere,
start
right?
someplace.
Yes.
Okay.
So building this
Or
document,
You just give us a call and we'll tell you how to do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So let's talk about how do you start,
How do you
right?
start? What do you want to cover with your posts? They should help increase the know, like, and trust factors of your business. In order to do that, people kind of need to get to know you. So maybe you do some behind the scenes.
So your posts should be entertaining, informational, or inspirational.
And shareable stuff is even better. So like sharing a daily quote, something like that. Maybe you do something like
Tuesdays are often like a testimonial day. So people will share the reviews that they've had for their businesses. That's the day that gets shared. That's always really a good idea. And
maybe something about what your business does. Maybe you do pick a video to post one day. And it again, if you are wanting to boost your personal page, this applies too. If you want to boost your business page, same rules apply. Maybe something fun on Fridays, and then Saturday is downtime, maybe
for us, that's like self-care Saturdays.
hobby. Yeah.
We have a client that does gardening on Saturdays, things like that.
We look at all the numbers.
If you don't check your numbers on your account, if you don't check your insights on your business page, you won't know if you're getting a better reach.
All these things are things that we can help you with. If you have questions,
I love
please
it.
reach out to us.
Set a consultation.
And then
Yeah.
we start here.
This is our outline for what a post should contain. So you should have a basic write-up. a call to action, which is something you're asking them to do. You should have 3 hashtags and a graphic. You gotta have something to post, right?
Mhm.
So those the same thing every day. That's the checklist for.
That is our, we use this and we use it in a Word document. So we actually make it a checklist so we can check off day 1's done.
That one's done. Check. This one's done. Check. But we literally type everything in here because there's a few things that you can do in a Google document that you can't do when you are building a post. Have you ever written a really nice, beautiful post and it disappeared? Poof,
Yes.
Ugh, hate that.
Right? If you write it in a document, you can go back, copy, and paste.
And undo is your friend, right?
And undo, spell check, even formatting, you can check on the document before you post it over.
And then if you have a document and you sit down to do your DMO and it's like, and we always do like 1 and then we put the date.
Yeah. So we'll date code it. So say if we were starting something for today, the first post is going to be 12/7/22 and it is a
Exceptional connections video.
Yeah.
right
Right.
as the topic, right? That's the topic. And then you know, we say join, whatever the write-up's going to be.
Right.
Go to YouTube and watch the replay.
Yeah.
So that would be the call to action, right? And even if I don't say here, the link is in the comments, we still put the link in the comments, right?
Sure.
Because then they're looking at the post like, oh, the link's right there. Cool. I can go. So we always use a branded hashtag.
We encourage you to also use a branded hashtag.
Something to do with your business name.
And
Also,
what were you saying about 3? You want no more than 3 hashtags?
yes.
Yes.
3 hashtags is universal across all platforms. Some platforms, if you put more than 3, they hide them. And other ones, if you put too many, they delete all of them. And hashtags are like a tracking device. So for instance, if I go over here to Google and I go to, and I search hashtag.
BSMB stands for body, soul, mind, and business.
Then I can literally pull up everything that we have posted
Ever.
of our stuff. And if it's 1,110 results, we can go to images and it has all of our images that we've tagged. You know, if we're ever anything in the news, right, we could do that.
Mhm.
And so on and so forth. So it's like this really cool way to see how you're being seen.
And for others to find out more information about you easily as well.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And a lot what my understanding of how millennials and younger use hashtags is by searching them for businesses and things like that. So especially on Instagram, it's super important to make sure your branding have a branded hashtag.
Mhm.
Facebook, it's not, they could take or leave hashtags, but 3 isn't so obnoxious that they do anything with it. YouTube, if you have too many, they won't use them, but they're
Well, I learned that from you guys. 'Cause I
Right?
was doing 8 of them, and you were saying, no, it's productive. You want to just do 3.
I was like, they don't just dismiss it. Like, you're like, I know how much hard work we put into hashtags, right? Like it, yeah. My favorite,
coming up with good ones.
my
So
favorite way to use a hashtag though is to have it tell a story.
Okay.
So we would definitely do hashtag exceptional connections. And then I would probably do hashtag community, because we're such a great community, right? And that would really reflect what we're doing here.
Okay, so as opposed to like our names, it would be better to put the business names as opposed to like, Heather Ross, Charlie Hoffman, Cindy O'Neill Davy. It's better to do our business and maybe names like community or stuff like that. Is that
I
priority?
think that you are confusing a couple of symbols. So hashtags are going to be like names of businesses and creating the emotion and feel. An @ symbol is going to be tagging a person in it.
Okay.
So that's different.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, look, we can tag Jean. So,
If you wanted to tag someone in the post, you can put it in the document, but what it does is then it asks me if I want to email. I don't. So that maybe
and
make
you need to
yourself a
know
note.
their exact little handle name to save it. But you
Yeah.
could make a note for yourself, tag Cindy, and then when you go into Facebook and into Instagram,
Then it reminds you.
then it
'cause
reminds you, oh, I got to take.
I've commented this, then I can just check that off.
Hmm,
Google Docs
okay.
is really cool like that. But
Well, I love your checklist because that makes it so easy again, just
Mhm.
to be able to just those
And it's
top of mind
just-
reminders.
It's just a setting under show and right here. It's whoa. Oh,
right there by the bullets, you could
yeah,
Choose
it's
the
a type
checkbox.
of bullet on your Word document.
Right,
We're using Google Docs, but Word does have it too.
right. Okay, I love it. This is great. This is really helpful. Okay, so you've kind of answered my questions, but I was thinking about this ahead of time. It's like, okay, how do you've got so many great systems here that, they really kind of keep you from being overwhelmed, but I just want to ask it anyway for somebody who in general is feeling overwhelmed by the whole process. How do you get past that?
Deep breaths.
sometimes it's a lot of deep breaths, but what we try to do is you can actually schedule out a lot of your content. And we try to have everybody that we work with scheduled out 10 days to 2 weeks ahead of time. And that gives you time to make adjustments if something happens. You can, through our system that we use when we schedule people, you can see if a post is going to post correctly most of the time, things like that.
You're able to kind of preview it.
Yeah.
What do you use? What do you use to schedule?
Well, there's a few different ways you could do it. I recommend if you are doing a business that you try to work with the Meta business platform for scheduling.
Mhm.
We use a program that's different.
Because we work with so many
Different clients.
Right.
And
it's more catered to that than it is the individual business.
now if you get to having social media with lots of moving parts, that's a different question. Then we would be happy to help you pick that out.
Well, I love this
'Cause-
conversation because we're empowering people to take it on themselves.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if that's not your cup of tea, or you're getting into trouble, we have experts here who can help us. And you guys have all kinds of systems, that you use you've used for your own business, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then
others.
so you walk
Yeah.
your talk, and then also to help others. So I love this. So
That's
we're
how we
the-
got started, actually. We were having conversations like this with some local ladies,
Mhm.
and teaching them what we were doing, and they were just like,
No.
could you just do it for us?
Yes.
And said that, and we're like, well, yeah, we could. Yeah, why not? So that is how we really got started.
Well, I love it. That's, it's organic, right? So what I want to do now is we want to allow a few time for questions, but I wanted to offer a bonus opportunity because when we were kind of prepping for this conversation, I showed you my spreadsheet and I thought it'd be kind of fun to show other people as well. So let me pull this up and give you guys an opportunity to kind of give people some feedback. So I was trying to think in my head, okay, how am I going to do this so that I can keep my, keep everything together? And like you have your checklist, I just did it on Google Docs and I create my images in Canva. And you gave me some great tips for that. So hopefully we'll get you to do a Canva class, at some point, right?
Yeah.
But can everybody see this? So this is just my Google Docs. And I have my image, which I just stuck in there, and the size doesn't matter. I just put it in there as a placeholder. I keep these in Google folders, and then of course they're in Canva and I download them.
You're very visual, so you want to see it, right? Like as you're creating what you want to do, you're like, oh, I have this thing I want to post. Like, oh, what does it look like? So you can make your post correlate, right?
And as you can see, Cindy, you're already doing really great because one, you have a document with a plan, and it is very similar to how we set up the document with our clients. It's in a little bit of a different order than how we do it, but that's not wrong. If that works for you, that's fabulous.
I think my suggestion is your call to action in this particular post. Why is gratitude the parent of all virtues? Right. I would put that up first. Because when people are scrolling, like the call to action or like that top thing should kind of grab their attention, right? They talk about those attention grabbers.
Right.
So with that being a call to action, and then at the end asking them how to do it, like leave a comment with how why gratitude is the parent of all virtues in your house, or something along those lines. Like, so it's interactive.
Leave a comment below on how.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're actually asking them to comment or asking them to share, but only one of those per post. Or go to my website, or listen to this thing. Just one call to action.
Okay.
I get a little bossy and I try to get you all over the place. So that's why we're having it written up in advance. And then when you come to look at it, you can be like, oh, what was I thinking that day? There's 5 call to action in this post.
So you could change it, but it's just, you may have the inspiration that day, but this just is a placeholder to remind you to start with the question to engage people. And then, put your body of your comments and then leave, remind them for the call to action, right?
Yes.
And then on your hashtag down there, you have a space between exceptional and connections. You want to make sure there's no space.
You spell checked it.
You spell checked, all the things.
Yeah. It will only hashtag exceptional if you have the space in there, unless you were to brand a hashtag that had exceptional connections with the underscore.
Say that again. If
you don't like it how it's two words put together for the hashtag, you can put an underscore in there.
Okay. Would I put the @ Cindy or no?
I wouldn't right there, but if you wanted to tag you're posting it on your stuff. So you're already tagged in it.
Oh, okay. So,
but if you wanted to do @check, you could.
And that would tag him. That would bring him into it, right?
Right. So you would go when you go to Facebook, make sure that you tag him, not just because you're reminding yourself. Unless like it's check 1253669 at like whatever his his Facebook tag username is, because it's usually something weird.
Okay. Okay.
There's something
So,
weird in there. There's an underscore, or we got numbers, or
right. Okay, so this is roughly what you had for your checklist. I just, like you
Yeah.
said, I did it in a little bit different order because I just, this is my image and that's my quote, so I can cut and paste it and I don't have to,
Yep.
retype it. Is
Yep.
why I did that. I have my text, my question, the body, call to action, and then the hashtags, and do, no more than 3. So, this is what kind of my plan is. I posted a Brene Brown one next, and then Fantastic Friday, and Welcome Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving, holiday season, act of kindness. So I'm actually doing it in chronological order. So next year, this season, I kind of have a flow and I can always add new stuff, right?
Yes.
And you can really use this to work a couple of weeks ahead of time. And if you are the person that you don't like to schedule your stuff, but you like to get it done quickly, this is a great way to do it too. Because then you just open up your document, copy, paste, done.
Right. Well, that's what I found is there's times where I'm in the mood for,
Yes.
I'm in the mood to make Canva, images and look for quotes, and then just kind of think about where do I want to put it in the, in the big scheme of things in the timeline. And it's easier for me to just cut and paste it and pop it versus if I just show up cold.
Right.
Yes.
How long does it take you when you're not prepared?
A long time.
And how long does it take you when you are
She
prepared?
doesn't want to
when it's
tell
booked
us.
ahead of time?
Less than 5 minutes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
And so then it makes it easier for you to be consistent because you did the work behind the scenes.
Right.
And
I mean, because I'm starting to get my momentum and doing it consistently, and it, not being bits and starts and all that kind of stuff. So, well,
I would like to say too, if anyone does have bits or starts, have grace with yourself. Hey, you're trying. Don't beat yourself up. There's nothing shameful. You're just pushing your business in a different way. That's okay.
I love that. Compassion is an important thing, right? Well, thanks for letting us kind of put in that bonus piece so people can see what they can do and other ideas. And I appreciated your feedback to help me to kind of fine tune that as well. So let's go ahead and open it up. Anybody has any questions you want to, for your own social media, or comments on things that you've heard, strategies, tactics that Heather and Charlie have shared, feel free to unmute yourself. We'd love to be able to hear your feedback as well before we close here. Hey, Chuck.
Yeah, I have a question. So I don't go on Facebook very often. I don't like it, but when I do, like probably maybe once a month, I've been noticing lately, especially a comment you made about people putting like words on there, putting spaces or dots or symbols inside the word. I wonder why they're doing that. So could you say again why they're doing that?
So you can actually like kind of Google the trigger words for Facebook, like sale or BOGO, giveaway. These are trigger words. So people are trying to avoid triggering the algorithm to get booted.
Yeah, there's certain things, if it's not done in a certain way, they'll flag it as like spam or illegal activity, illegal sales, gambling, for giveaways, they'll flag it as like gambling or something like that. So you have to be really careful about how you word those things and how you write them out, because there's they'll come up automatically on the Facebook, I don't know, what do they call them, arbitrators page, and they'll just flag it because they're not going to take the time to actually read the post to actually see what it's about and what if you're not
They want you to follow community guidelines. And if you're too pushy, too salesy, then they get mad.
Right.
And this is for posts, not necessarily for the image. So if you have the word giveaway in the image, you're okay.
Yes.
So that's how you can get around it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Put those words in the image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes I think it, and I don't know, it looks to me like people are going overboard with this because, you know,
Some people do. Yeah.
and I can't even figure out what they're trying to tell me.
That might be like one of those posts where like, if you can read this, you know, then you like leave a code word or something.
That's
Really?
That it's an activity like and to engage people. Some people like it, some people don't.
Some posts that you see, it's like this whole long story with emojis and all that. That's what you're talking about, right? Well, once it gets past a certain number of characters, Facebook automatically doesn't like it. So those really long posts with all the, you know, like
Mile long and then there's like 27,000 hashtags at the bottom. Yeah, it doesn't like that.
No, it doesn't like those. You can post those, just be aware that it's going to automatically try to flag it or lower the algorithm, because what they find is, you know, people and their attention span, they see that big long post and they're like, nope, and they move on, right? They're like, yeah, that's too long to read. I don't have time for that right now, or whatever.
I kind of think of like the 80-20 rule, like, you know, 80% short and sweet, 20%
more in depth, meaty.
Well, that also applies to personal posts versus business posts.
Yeah.
Or
if you are
promotional posts versus just, you know, informational posts.
Yes. Yeah, you have to be rounded, right? Because people need to know about you, because we know that in sales and we know that in business. People buy you, they don't necessarily know or care sometimes.
Right.
They buy a product that they trust and understand. So if they can trust and understand you, they're gonna, you know, continue following you, continue doing business with you, and whatever that looks like. So these rules of interactions, these 30-minute power social media DMOs, you can apply those to any aspect of your business.
Right. It's true. It's very true. I love that. Well, this is a great conversation. So just one last opportunity for any questions. Feel free to unmute yourself. Okay. So let's wrap it up here. So thank you for all the great tips and content. Really appreciate it. I want to give you an opportunity to share how people can connect with you, interact with you, or hire you for consultation. And then share your offer.
So you can check us out at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. And
our giveaway is, we are going to provide the link to make your own printable social media DMO, so that you have a copy for yourself that you can hang next to your desk and just go check, 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 done. Easy,
and
easy.
if you want help getting your 45-day content, we can do a couple of different ways. We can have a consult and just consult with what you want, or we can write it for you and you post it, or we can write it for you, make the graphics and post it.
Yeah.
So full service there for
Full
you.
service, depending on what your needs are and how that fits into your life.
Our favorite is when the person we're working with is like, oh, thank you for taking the load off. That is really my favorite thing. It's like, I can focus on this other thing that's going to actually make me money now. Thank you.
Well, and the thing is that they enjoy better, right? And they're
Yes.
more suited to their giftings. So I do want to mention that all the links that that Heather and Charlie mentioned are going to be in the replay YouTube description. So those will be provided for you. And And again, they were gracious enough to be on Conversations to Connect, episode 47, as I mentioned at the top of this program. We talked about the 4 agreements and how they make you better connections. And so that was a super fun conversation as well. So more content for you. These gals have they're just deep wells, as we mentioned early on. And so I just want to close with giving you guys an opportunity to share, closing thought. So anything to leave our audience with?
Yeah, Cindy and the rest of you, this has really been an amazing journey for Heather and I over the last year. We're really looking forward to the next year. Thank you for listening, and Cindy for inviting us to join you today. We just really appreciate it, and we want to wish everybody a happy holidays.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been just a joy to get to know you and be able to share you with our community, and all the great, tools that you have and processes that you've created to help us to not be so intimidated by social media. So I'll just leave everybody with a parting thought to remember to make every connection an exceptional connection, and happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.